All right, folks, welcome on back here this Friday, March 26th. Time to wrap up the week here, actually, with our afternoon meeting. Let me get a quick sound check just to begin, make sure everyone could hear me loud and clear. I want to go over a trade that we've been talking about heading into this afternoon, at least for all of us live inside our trading room. Great to see Skip, Ken, Dave, Scott, June, Kathleen, all of us live, can hear me loud and clear from our trading room. Perfect. Grant says, now I'm really awake. Good. I told you, I tried to warn you, folks. No, but otherwise, for all of our members joining us on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube, welcome on back. Let's start off with this LIVX here. So, hey, going into today, we weren't expecting a whole lot. I mean, typically on a Friday, not as much news coming out, just, company-wise, unless if there's anything big as far as like job reports or employment or anything of that nature, any economic reports that could come out. But, otherwise, we've ended up doing pretty well. And this LIVX stock, I thought, would have made a really nice move on the way up, at least off the pop. So we called this out off the breakout. It got halted on the way up. The news that came out at the time, LIVX launches non-fungible token, NFT content division. So that's all you kind of need to know, because over the last few days, the last week certainly, we've had more of these companies coming out with the NFT news. The non-fungible token, the digital art, music, etc. Ties in with cryptocurrency, so I'm sure I'll go to Bitcoin in perhaps a moment. June saying here, oh no, not in relation to LIVX. He says in relation to another stock, Neo. What a short. Well, this too, though, June, this too. So off the pop, we were expecting a massive run up. And when it reopened, well, it popped up higher. And at the time, I was watching this with one of our traders, Jim, in a coaching session, and we saw this pull back. And I was saying, let's just wait a little bit. Let's wait to see what happens. There are a couple of price levels that I personally had my eye on, 650, 625, $6. So this came down to 625. I mean, it broke right below it actually initially, but I was looking for the bounce. I got in right here on the long. It moved up a little bit. I didn't get out off the top because I was expecting a lot more. Ended up dragging back down. I ended up closing out just a few cents, like 2 cents, something like that. Well, there wasn't much support until 6. I'm thinking, hey, this stock is shortable. This breaks below 625. I feel if we have a lot of selling coming in off that price and under, we can get this to drop pretty nicely. So it goes short. It's taking its time. It's not like making that big break that I want it to. I get out. And then, of course, it starts dropping. And it ends up dropping all the way down below 6. I was looking for an entry on this as a long trade. I was expecting a run back up because eventually I thought with the news out, we'd see some sort of bounce. At the time I was trying to day trade it based on the momentum. Well, I ended up getting filled on the way, or I got filled as it was trying to hold support off of 6. Took like a 10-cent loss, 11-cent loss there. I think I took another one on a half-size position from 578. And then at that point, I said, anyway, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to step away, just make some lunch, just try and clear my head. I was doing well from the morning, and this ended up screwing me up a bit. I thought I had the right direction. I clearly did not. I come back 10, 15 minutes later, and this stock is all the way down to $5 and below. I mean, you can call this fortunate timing, perhaps, but when I saw it drop all the way down to 5, and off of the news that came out, right? Good news came out. And after the pop-up, I mean, it dropped off way more than I thought. It brings me to an old Fausto line that he told me back in like 2014 when I first started here. I mean, in relation to this trade, we'll say, if you like the stock so much at $5.99 or $6 as a buy, or even $5.78 where I ended up getting in on my second position long, then I got to be drooling over it when it's at like $4.94. So I'm currently in this trade long from $4.94. I ended up taking half my position out at $5.21 just to start the meeting. But for right now, I want to see if this can make a nice squeeze back up. It still just provides good volatility on the way up, on the way down. As of right now, it seems to be holding resistance pretty well off the highs here off 530. So it's like kind of flat, almost as if it's building a Fausto flag. I'll probably put this on our main watch list. Might not make the top of the list, but I'll put this on for right now. I'm hopeful personally to see this make another pop and run back up, perhaps towards like a 570-ish. I'll take what I can get though. So I'm going to keep an eye on this as we go through. But I wanted to start off with this because, hey, it tripped me up. Good news came out. I would have expected this to at least find some support around 6 or maybe 580. You can't hold on to a trade like that because you might be holding on for a long time. All right. So again, like I said, I'll keep this on another screen. So I'll probably just manage this as I go through or try to. Alongside the LIVX, I mean, we saw the market take a bit of a drop heading into the afternoon and now it bounced on the SPY. But I want to jump to all these stocks that have been affected by the China market and just the relations between the US and China. I'm talking about Viacom, Tencent. I'm talking about IQ, all of these that are on the top of the losers list here. I haven't seen Viacom ever really get halted at all, let alone like what, 3 times in a day? That's crazy. So yeah, for right now, I mean, easily enough, we're just going to put the Viacom stock on our main watch list. Alongside Viacom, I'd probably be more interested in the Tencent trade myself, TME. We ended up doing really well on the stock from our afternoon watch list yesterday. So actually, to cover this one pretty quick, at least from yesterday, we ended up seeing this continue to drop off heading into the close. I ended up catching this as a long. I was waiting for the bounce on this trade, and at the time, I was like watching 20. If I'm not mistaken, I think I took a small loss at first for like 5 or 10 cents, and then as it kept dropping, like almost pretty similar to what I'm doing on the LIVX trade, I ended up jumping in on this. I think it was right off like this bar right there, 1954. Jumped in. I ended up closing out. Where the hell did I close out here? I didn't get out. What was it? 2064 into the close. Ended up riding this up. So, on this trade, I mean, hopefully history could repeat itself in terms of a successful dead cat bounce or squeeze up. If not, though, then otherwise, it'd be interesting to see this potentially break down towards 17 again, and perhaps towards like this like series of higher lows. Let me just draw this on the chart. Get this right. Using my opposite hand here on my cursor. There we go. That looks pretty good. And we'll go with that for right now, just to keep it simple. Yeah, I mean, for right now, building a nice series of higher lows, at the same time, lower highs, like kind of filling in sideways here. So, keep a good eye on that heading into the afternoon. Easily enough, we'll keep the time trade back on our list. NEO, we'll go back to June for NEO, that short. It says buy to cover at 34.05. June says, all right, nice. June, where did you end up getting in the NEO trade from? What was your entry on this trade? It looks like he just got out right off 34.05. And Ken, I'd imagine you're short too on NEO, and he says AMC as well. Also likes time and Can. I don't know if Can's a China stock or related to China market, but obviously took a big drop here heading into the afternoon. It wouldn't be not wrong, but I should say, I mean, it's easy to understand why one would assume that Can could be a China-related stock given the drop-off, but otherwise it might just be, on its own. But otherwise, yeah, Can, nice short heading into the afternoon, held off 16 support pretty nicely and bounced back up, but we'll put Can back on our watch list. It's down 10+%. So we have LIVX, Can, time. I want to jump to the NEO trade. Viacom we also have on our watch list. June says he started shorting NEO here at 35.90, and then he got out at 35, and then he got back in at 35, and just kind of rotting it down now. Perfect. I mean, yeah, for right now, also just like before with the time trade and Can more so, NEO holding off a whole number of support off 34 here, but they all seem to kind of have the same trend or similar trend to it. All right, cool. Actually, while we're at it, I mean, we're talking about the top of the losers list, just it catches my eye right now, looking at number 1 on the losers list. From there, we'll go from top to bottom across the gainers side. But the GSX down 46% shortable. So I would imagine this too. But man, this thing took quite the hit today. Definitely more of a level 5 stock, given the how thin the order book is. I kind of call it illiquid, if that's even a real word, but otherwise a very thin, light order book. So that's where you need to be careful. I would never ever use a market order on a trade like this, let alone a trade like Can or even time. Certainly not Viacom. Yeah. So for right now, I'll put this on our list too. June says Tesla down by 34 points right now across the day. Well, let's just go from the gainers list right now. Perhaps maybe I'll even catch Tesla across the losers list here, but EEIQ, I think, like a new IPO, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So all these education companies came out, right? Like we ended up all seeing these education companies like run up, and I want to jump to Benzinga Pro pretty quickly just to get like the snippet, the headline. All right, so what I have here is shares of several Chinese education stocks trading higher. Price action could potentially be related to the recent IPO Elite Education Group International. This a Chinese education stock which traded 700+%. Well, yeah, that's this stock. So I guess just they ended up running it up, but if that's the reason why all of these others ended up squeezing up, like the WAFU. I think we ended up seeing, if I'm not mistaken, well, at first the NEXT. This one ended up getting squeezed right after the market opened. Ended up making this huge pump. I think like even at four in the morning, pot from like $5 all the way to like 36. Who the hell is trading that here? It's got to be China market, but if anyone has access to pre-market trading on this, like I would never do that myself, given like how thin the order book would have been. If you get in at the perfect price and it pops, then of course you're going to ride the wave. But otherwise, I would never try and jump in this at like $20, $25 or whatever. Even if I had the chance to trade pre-market at that time, I don't. But yeah, for right now, the WAFU trade, we're going to keep on the sidelines. Same with the EEIQ trade. At the whole list here. Oh, here we go. The FEDU. Yep, here's the main list that I had here as far as like all of the China education companies. So FEDU is another one. I think TEDU, BEDU, they're all ending in EDU. So, TEDU is another one. Kind of spotty chart there, but popped after the open. Oh, not that one. TAL, definitely. After the market opened up, this one took quite the hit. Trying to squeeze up right now. This one actually has decent liquidity on the book for a $50 stock, $51 stock. Maybe I'll come back to this one. I don't want to lose or get off tangent here though, because we're across the gainer side. So the FEDU we were going to run into anyway. The NEXT trade, I guess we'll just look at pretty quick, but trading a lot of volume compared to what it normally does. So I'm probably going to pass on this, but maybe this will shock us by the end of the meeting. I'll write this down on the side list. You just come back to it at the very end. Starting to make a small little bounce here. SM, once again, like we always happen to see the stock make incredible trends, if not at the highs like this, otherwise at the lows. Double top off roughly 1804 the high here. I guess it's easy enough for us to just slip this on our list here, right? The SM, why not? Familiar name, good order book, just broke over 18 a moment ago. You can see a lot of those yellow prints on the tape. Geez, that was at 9%. So I had to have just dropped down here a little bit. I want to scroll over to the NAT trade here pretty quick. This one ended up making a really nice run up. Ended up catching this early from 376. Moved all the way up towards 405 before dropping back down. CENX maybe popped after the open, trying to squeeze up right now. Not trading a whole lot of volume per minute here. It's like actually pretty crap. All right, let's see if there's anything else across the gainers end now to see if there's any other familiar names. Number 45 here, my US Steel, my X, pushing back up a little bit. It's like kind of weak. Not a whole lot really to write home about there. I know Fausto called out the BOWX trade from earlier this morning, another special acquisition company. Squeezed up early, but now at this point, pretty flat. Damn. All right. Well, it is Friday. It's a very Friday, I should say. Let's hop over to the losers list, see if there's anything looking just as good. Talked about a lot of these already, perhaps. Lending Club LC, we didn't jump to. Man, this one took a huge hit. Wow. From what, like 1850 all the way down to 1255, low of the day, basically 1250. The hell's going on here with Lending Club? The headline I have from just Tuesday this week, all it says is shares of several companies in the broader financial sector trading lower. and overall market weakness, blah, blah, blah. You know, it had to do with the Fed Chair Powell and Treasury Secretary Yellen. Yeah, I don't know if there's any other news, you know, outside of that, but yeah, for right now, LC trading a ton of volume per minute. We'll definitely keep this in mind. Let's see if this can squeeze back up towards the 1350 or pull back closer towards 13. Not even a whole lot of volume filled off the 13 level here. All right, we'll keep it in mind, though. We'll put this on our list. EEIQ, we already kind of talked about. The Ruby stock shortable. We'll take a look. Just big spread. Don't really need to put the stock on our main list. CODX is shortable. That's the only reason why I clicked on it, because normally it's hard to borrow. I would just skip over it, but it's at the low of the day right now. And spread's not terrible. Order on the bid off 950. I don't need to put this on our list, but it actually looks a lot better than the other one. So I'll write this down on the side to see if there's anything looking even better. You know, maybe I'll slip this on here at the end. TIGR I personally wrote down on my side list going into the market open. I didn't trade this at all, but it ended up making a really nice drop. Kind of regret not trading it. But, you know, nonetheless, I mean, this still seems to be pretty active. You know, good side list stocks still at this point. Vuzi stock we're pretty familiar with, made like a wacky spike up going into like, you know, 12:30, 1 p.m. Eastern. My LIVX is like kind of slipping back down a little bit. It broke my trend line. I might just get out. I'm in from 594 on that, so pick up 22 cents here on the last half of my position. Just get out at market, essentially right off the bid at 518. All right, so I just closed out on the LIVX. You know, that's a stock that we're still going to watch on our list here, or still going to put on our list. You know, maybe still trade it, but I just closed right off the bid at 518. All right, folks, if there's anything else up, down, left, right, more than like 10%, type it in the chat board. Let me know here. We have a decent list for, you know, kind of a slow Friday, really. Take a look at Tesla just really quick, because I said maybe we'd find it on the losers list, but down 5+%. That's still a nice drop off. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not going to trade Tesla, but, you know, interesting to see at the low of the day. SPY taking a big drop right now too, right? You can see that pull back down from like the last peak roughly around like 5-10 minutes ago. All right, let me just jump to Benzinga Pro, folks. I think otherwise we're just about good to go. I wouldn't imagine for there to be a whole lot popping here now in this market. So we'll check out the side list stocks. We'll check out the airlines, the cruise lines, you know, the blah, blah, blah. If I can get away from Tesla, perhaps we could do that. There we go. I thought it was going to freeze me up for a second. AAL only down like 2%, but at the low of the day, you know, right? So that could be a great stock to watch. NCLH, I guess, dropping off at the market. Not a whole lot to write home about there. Check out like an oil stock like Oxy, you know, at the low of the day technically. GE dropping off. You know, Ford was a great side list stock over the last month. You know, that's on the way down to 12. So a lot of stocks pulling down with the market here, folks, heading into the afternoon. If there's, you know, if you find from the watch list that we have, not really stocks that you're like comfortable following or trading or looking at, then if there's a stock that's moving well with the market, that's, you know, at least volatile enough to provide like an opportunity to make money, and it's not like watching the grass grow, then, you know, you personally watch it. You personally put it on your list. The Neo trade we put on our main watch list, I'm probably going to trade that myself. I did pretty well on that heading into the afternoon yesterday too, so I'll probably stick with this. Look at the SPY dropping down here really fast, about to break lower here. All right, so I'll tell you, you know what? I think that we're just about good to go. You know, I'm going to just jump right into Neo, I think. So in total, we have about 2, 4, 6, 8 stocks to work with on our main list. And then otherwise, like I just said just before, if there's a stock that you do really well on consistently, it's moving with the market and volatile enough, you know, to provide an opportunity, then I'm sure you're going to watch it going into the close and go for it. All right. So, otherwise, folks, don't try and have hopium. Don't try and, take a trade, have it go the other way, and then, say, oh, we'll see what it does in a little bit, because this is a really volatile market otherwise. So you don't want to be on the wrong end of it. All right, I'm going to shut up right now because this Neo trade is about to break 34. All right, folks. So for all of us joining us on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube, make sure that you like, subscribe, notify right on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. Otherwise, feel free to join us live inside our trading room. Go right down to the link on the banner below to sign up. For all of us live inside the trading room, I look forward to speaking with you folks pretty shortly. Take care.